Morning all. Okay, 1934 in chess tempo in the blitz mode. There is a standard, but let's stick with blitz just to add the time pressure element. Maybe it's better training for like blitz chess anyway. So 1934, accuracy needed. Could it be Queen D7? Sorry, Knight C5. I could take on D7 after. Anything stronger? Bishop D4. Isn't that okay? Bishop D4, Knight C. Sorry, Bishop C5, Knight C5, Knight C5, Bishop C5. Just winning D7, surely. That's the point of this. Okay, it's just the obvious Knight C5. Does win a couple of pawns. It says usually winning a couple of pawns with material, so I'm going to go for that. Just Knight C5. Failed. Whoops. Bishop takes C5. Knight takes C5. Queen D4 check. Oh, Bishop C5 just winning a piece. Wake up. Okay. Rook C3. So, Bishop D5, Queen D5. What about Rook F6 threatening Queen takes E8 if Queen F6, but Bishop C3 first maybe? Well no, Rook F6, Rook C2. I think maybe just Bishop C3 first. Queen C3, Rook F6, and if Queen C2, well, let's just take the Queen. This is a mess. This position. Oh dear. It was Bishop C3. Okay, so attacking the Queen. If I just. I'm going to take the bishop, yeah? Okay, 1933. So Queen A1 check. Oh. Well, taking... There isn't a back row mate. But if I played check, then... Isn't that... mating? Check. Queen A1. King C2, Queen B2. King D3. At that point, where's the Queen going? So why couldn't I just take the Queen? There's no back row mate. That'll be easier. Takes on. When the King ends up on D3, I can't see a thing. Queen A1, King C2. Couldn't I just take the Queen? It's tricky. Okay, is Queen G5 here? Because of Knight F3? No! Ow! Queen B6 check! Why wasn't Queen G5 working? Oh, because just keep winning the Queen after. Okay, not so quick. Not so quick. Alright, so if it takes Queen C3, what about Queen B2? Let's keep the passed pawn. Queen B2 and then C2. So Queen B2, Queen A8, King H7, but then Bishop G7. Well, there'll be a back row mate, so I think Queen B2. Now couldn't I just take the bishop? Can't see anything White could do there. Alright, so on a roll. Sort of. So Queen F4, there's Queen D4. I guess. Queen D4 has strong threats. Unless Rook H7 there, King takes Queen F7. And then surely like Rook H1. So I think I'm going to go for that. Okay, so king takes queen d4, be threatening mate. But then again, there's queen f7 mate, so I can take with the king to keep the rook on h7. Right, can I just take with the pawn so it's not check? Oh, there's rook a5. Is that dangerous? King b1 after. Doesn't seem that dangerous. So there'll still be as long as king b1. It doesn't matter about taking now. Okay. So queen e4 check. Then maybe take the rook, takes e2. There's queen e7. Queen e4, there's f3, queen c2. King g1, maybe just takes, and then bishop e3. So queen e4 looks pretty strong because king f2, e2 and bishop d2. So if I take and bishop e3, so bishop e3 here, king e2, queen g2, king d3. What about just queen c2 instead? There'll still be checks. Queen c2 or queen e3. Well, a lot of choices. I think queen c2. If king e1, oh no. Okay, bishop e3, king e2, there's queen c2. There's a lot of noise from outside now. Okay, I think bishop e3. Nope. Too much noise from outside. Queen e3. Oh, it was queen e3. So queen f3, king e1. Queen f3 must be good here, surely. Now bishop g3, king d2, queen e3. Now queen e1. Okay. So so rook c8's not quite working. Bishop e7 though. Rook e7, rook c8. Bishop e7. Wow. Where's the queen going? Okay, so 1938. So, queen... I don't know, f2 threatens queen d3. f2, queen g6. There's f1, knighting, check. Isn't that winning? So f2's possible. What about just queen e4? Just to try and get in queen e2. Isn't that stronger? Queen e4 looks pretty strong. Queen e5. Oh dear, it's like drilling outside. Queen e4, queen e5. No, I think f2. Queen e4. So queen e4, queen e5. There was bishop e3 check, right? I'll just shut the window, I think. Okay. So rook g4, queen g4, or bishop g2, or bishop g2, queen e2. There's bishop d5. Actually, bishop g2 looked pretty good. Oh, hang on, sets for dropping the queen. So what about just rook g4 and then bishop c4 and then queen c4? So interesting. Whoa. What about rook f4 takes bishop c4? Rook f4, interfering to be able to play bishop c4 without losing the queen. Oh, that was neat. So queen f8, king h7, rook h1. There's a rook g4. What about so rook h. What about queen c8, king h7, rook h1? There's no rook g4. Okay, 1943. Okay, so knight takes d7 here, surely. Queen. Or just queen takes e5 is even simpler than knight takes. Not to allow queen e4 check. Just queen takes queen. Okay. Does king g7 to play rook h4? If rook e8, then rook h4. King g7, not strong. Maybe I should have factored that in, but there's king f6 now, and if rook e8, rook h4. Okay, can I just not just take the rook here if there's no mate? I'm sorry, blitz rating going up at all. I'm not sure the one I'm looking at is so 1947.5. So, as black here, bishop d4, rook a1, bishop d4, is that too slow? Or just rook g1 and going the exchange down, doesn't look too hot. Bishop d4, you know, rook a1, at least I'm getting bishop and rook for queen. Surely bishop d4, or I could win the queen and c3. Anything stronger? I think bishop d4 is tempting. As rook takes g1, because after queen g1, rook takes a3. Oh, threatening rook a1. Oh, very clever. Okay. Queen. There's no queen one. Knight, queen c2. Queen e1 or queen c2. Queen c2, knight e5, king e6, and there's no. I mean, I'm threatening mate. There's queen d2 as well. Is looking good. Knight, actually, knight e5, king e7. This is. Anything more clear cut here? Queen d2 or queen c2? That's the question. Queen d2, does that have any advantages? The rook will be attacked. Oh, that's hard. Hang on, there's queen c6 check. Patzer sees a check, Patzer plays a check, and queen g2. Okay. Queen. I don't know. Bishop b3. Does it try and win the queen? Bishop b3. queen. I'm just overwhelmed by the position at the moment. Stop being overwhelmed by the position. Okay. Doesn't look like there must be a way of trapping the queen here. What about knight d5? Where does the queen go after bishop b3 next? So just knight d5. Doesn't that kind of... Oh, there's queen d1. Okay, so bishop b3, queen b6. Isn't there knight d5 there? There's queen a7. Blimey. So what would be the point here? Knight d5, there's queen d1. Whoa! I'm mystified. Right, just knight b3 then. Hitting the bishop to play... What a strange one. Could try forcing move. Bishop b3, queen b6. Oh, I think I'll start with bishop b3. Oh, it was bishop b3. So, what was I saying? Queen b6. The queen's actually trapped. Okay, so I don't want to leave hold of a5 here. So queen b2, queen a5. No. So bishop a4, bishop c3. Right, trying to leave the queen trapped. What about just queen c7 then? The queen's really trapped now. Queen c7, and if rook c1, queen c1 check. Okay. Right, so it's not going to be obvious queen h4 because the queen's protected, surely. But just rook f1 here first. Rook f1 looks pretty strong. So just taking with rook, so get use of f7. So rook f7. Okay. So queen h6, and that's threatening mate on g7, so that's pretty good. But there's like bishop g2, so maybe something quicker like queen g4 to stop this bishop g2. Queen g4, king f7, queen g7, king e6, bishop. That must be the way. Queen g4. I don't think black can be allowed too much time with bishop g2. So queen g4. It was bishop h7. Bishop h7. Whoa, nice. Okay. So rook a5, bishop. Bishop c8. Nope. Let's play rook f6, king g3. Well, I don't know. Bishop c4. Rook a7, king h6. No. Wow. Is this hard? king? How about just king f6? What's the threat? The threat might be rook h5 and rook h3. King f6 looks kind of dangerous actually, because it keeps. I think I'll play king. Oh, bishop c8. So if rook a7. Oh no, I don't get this. If rook a7 check, what was that? King h6. It's like king g3. Ooh, no. Oh, of course, rook f7 check. Bishop c8. So okay, okay. Okay, what about? Oh, I think more coffee needed. So knight g6, hg. Does that do anything? Probably not. So f2 is actually protected by the queen at the moment. So we just knight d5, attacking the queen. Queen d8. Oh. Rook. There isn't. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, that just, I don't know, knight f5. Hang on. There's a back row weakness, so knight f5, knight d5, queen d8. There's rook d7. No, I don't get it. Knight g6 hg, that definitely doesn't work. So rook c6, queen f7. Yeah. Oh there. Tricky. 2 minutes in. Not a clue. Knight d5, knight f5. What about this rook c6 for knight g6, but then queen f7? Queen f5? Nope. Still mystified. Rook c8. What about just rook c8? Aha. Okay. So can't allow queen f2 with queen a3. Why not just taking on f8 and taking on e3? a3. Because knight g6 is protected. Oh, rating's gone down after that. That's taking too long. I could take then queen g3, but then queen h6, and bishop f2. So that's not a problem. So just taking with, leave the pawn blockaded. So taking with this one. So cool. Wow. Bishop d7, bishop d7, queen e4. If bishop e5, there's rook e5 here. Queen e4, king d8. It's something simpler. Just queen d8. Okay, okay. Why would that be good? Queen e4 is knight e5. Ah. I won the bishop d7, bishop d7, queen e4. King moves to d8. Then I can't see anything. I might just queen d5 here. Knight e5. Knight e5. There's nothing. Again. Ooh. Is there something easier? I could start with bishop d7 as a guess. Nope. It's rook h8. Threatening rook c8, maybe in queen d7. Okay. So threaten with mate on b2 here. So queen f8, king e6. Queen f5. I don't leave bishop e5 doesn't do much. I think queen f8 start off with king. Queen f8 start off with. Aha. So queen f5, king e7. That's queen e5. That's queen e8 here. King f8 and bishop e5. I think queen e8 just to try and win material. So queen g6. Queen g6. There's knight e6. So bishop e5. That's not mate. Bishop e5 here. Okay. So if I take on that e2, what happens? I lose d3, but then takes, then queen e6. So I'll take on a2, I think. And that's queen d5. What about king? Alright. Oh yeah, I think it is. That was a good move, but keep looking. Oh there. Wow. What about g takes first? So now rook. And that's queen g7 first. I think rook takes d3. Okay. 1940. Knight b3. What about here? A takes rook c8. How's the king escaping? And so knight b3 and then rook c8. Just double the pawns first. Aha. Cute. Okay. So attacking the knight. There's no rook h5. Is there? G takes. That's ridiculous. No knight f7. Right, just cd. Can I just play cd? Looks like a good move. Anything wrong with cd? Is there anything stronger? CD just looks like a good move. Why can't I just play this? Protecting the knight. Oh, that is the move. Okay. Just take the rook. Okay. Tricky. Problems. You expect something maybe a bit more. So queen g5 here. Queen a8. I don't know. King g7. So queen g5, and this is queen f2 actually might actually be more incisive. Queen g2, rook h4. So queen f2, king h3, rook h4. Actually, queen f2 looks more incisive. Oh, 1948. I'm breaking a record here. So So queen f7 is queen g3. Does that matter? So if I throw in a check, queen h5, king moves, queen f7, because then queen g3 will be pinned with queen g6. I mean, that's the idea. Get the king on the g file. Okay. So, no, b5, is that ridiculous? b5, I don't know. First thing I look at, b5. Whoa, I don't know. The threat's a d7, so what a mess. Really? I mean, what a mess. Is this... Oh. Okay. What about just e2, just trying to queen as d7? Nope. I'm confused. I'm confused about d7, handling d7 here. e2, d7. Do I just queen? Could try e2. Maybe I just try and queen. And I just let that rook go. If I just queen, let the rook go. Okay, so there's a threat of rook h3. So I take on d4, rook h3. Unless I can just take on a4 and then move bishop, but that's not enough time. How about just g6 first and then taking on a4, because then bishop g7. g6 first. Alright, so I can take on a4, rook h3, bishop g7. Bishop g7. Whoa. So, there's rook d1 here, threatening knight f1. Sorry, rook f1 and rook h1 mating. And there's queen f4, there's knight e2. So I think rook d1 to avoid losing the rook. Knight e2. I can take on f1. No, I can't take on f1. Okay, 1958. There isn't queen h7, has it? Queen h7. Queen h7. Might threaten queen h8 and queen e8 mating. Queen h7. So say queen c6, queen h8 and queen... There isn't queen d8. And then bishop c5 first. Knight c5. So queen h5, queen c6, queen h5. What about bishop c5 first, knight takes, queen h7? It's nonsense. Rook d7? Wow. Why does this look so tricky? Queen h7, queen c6, queen h8, king e7. Then what? Queen's just stranded. The knight is protecting d8. So, how about bishop c1 here, attacking the rook? King a2. This rook d7 is a forcing move though. Rook d7, what about just rook d7? Looks like a good move anyway for queen h7. So queen h7 here threatens mate now. Maybe bishop c5. Oh, giving up the queen. Oh, I'll take the queen. Okay, on a roll again. So knight c2, rook c8, knight g5 doesn't look. King h6 though, is it really mating? Knight f7, king h5? I think I can just take the queen. Can I just take the queen? Rather than pass up that opportunity, because otherwise just takes and attacking my queen. Ow! Queen takes c5. Oh, I probably was getting mated. Oh dear. Let's have a look. Knight c2 check. Knight g5, king h6. Well, there's knight f7. It's all messy. Okay. Okay. There isn't rook e5 and rook g4 here, is there? Because rook g4 that looks like a nifty move. And there's queen d8 check. Knight f8. Alright, anything with that idea? Rook e5, rook g4, knight f8. What about just queen e5 and rook e5? Because then there's a pin on the queen. And if queen e8, there's rook e8. So rook e5 here. Okay. So what about here, rook h5 or knight d5? Is that better? Rook h5 looks pretty strong. Knight d5 looks stronger. Just attacking the queen first, and then rook h5 after. Because rook h5, what is the defense? It seems, I don't know, knight d5 is a riskless first move here. Unless the queen's really useful for defense. So queen d8, like rook h5, I don't know. What's wrong with rook h5? Takes queen h5, maybe just king f8. No, I'm confused. I'm going to give... Okay, rook h5 looks pretty quick though. King f8 might be the problem. Then if knight d5, I can't see it. How black's escaping. Ah, I'll give rook h5 a shot. It was okay. Okay, so I'll just take there. Now I'll take. Okay. Rook h7. King takes. Queen h5. What about rook f7? Then rook f7. Rook f7. Rook h7. And queen h5. King g8. Queen takes, and then back to h5. I think rook f7. So rook h5. Rook h7. Check. Takes. Back. Okay, 1960. So, I don't know. Queen. Where's the queen going? Not queen b4, is it? Trying to trap the queen. Bishop c5. Okay, odd one. Just queen c5. Actually, if it takes, then bishop c5 winning exchange. Probably queen c5 here. Ah! Queen d2. What? What does queen d2 do? Say the bishop moved. So queen d2. What if the bishop just moved? Oh, then bishop c5, so same theme maybe. So if rook b5, just take, well, right, if the bishop moves, bishop c5, I think. Okay. Alright, chaos. If I take on e3, it protects f3, rook h1. Can't now queen f3. Could throw in knight g5 check first. King e8, does that do anything? Actually, surely just knight g5. If king 8, bishop h6, bishop takes h8. If king g8, queen e3, there's rook h1. I don't know. Whoa. I wonder. Queen e3, rook h1, just knight g1. Well, okay, knight g5 is sort of tempting as well. And if king g8, queen e3, rook h1 looks devastating. Yes. Knight g5, king g8, I can't get how. So what about, okay, I think we're back to the drawing board here. Queen e3 as probably one of the safest of them. There might be knight g5 and queen e6. Queen e3, or just knight g1. No, not knight g1, queen g2. Queen e3. Okay, well, it's a lucky guess. King f2, rook d1, knight g5. No. Do I really want to lose the d1 rook? There's queen f4, so I guess that's okay. King f2. There's knight h3 though. But if knight g1, there's queen g2, so there's not too many options. Aha. So knight h5 here, or knight f5? Or rook f7? Knight h5. Knight h5 looks like a good first move. Or there's knight f5, one of the knights to f5. Knight f5, say king h8. I mean, it looks pretty dangerous, but knight h5 looks also pretty dangerous. I think knight h5 looks more dangerous. But then king g8, then what? Yeah, king g8, then what? So knight gf5, king g8 would be an improvement, taking on e7. And if king h8, again taking on e7. So which knight? Probably the g1 to avoid the king getting slaughtered on diagonals quickly. Knight gf5. Takes the bishop, takes. I don't like rook f7 or anything. Knight gf5. Good move, but not the computer's first choice. Could it be the other one? What's the difference? I can't discern the difference at the moment. Well, knight h5 then. Okay. So what's the key thing here? Queen h6 takes. Isn't there just rook f7 and queen h7? There was rook f7. Right. There's no rook f8 here. Rook f8. Queen g7. I'm just moving the king to play knight e6. Or there's just rook f7 here. I think rook f7 here looks pretty good, threatening mate, and if it takes queen h7. Oh. It's not rook f8, is it? Not queen g7. I think king h1 looks like leaves the trouble. Rook c3, knight e6, and again threatening mate. Just king h1 looks like a pretty good move. Oh dear. I think king h1. It is king h1. Let's just take the queen here. Okay. Rook f6. Just interference. Rook f6. Looks pretty good. Keeping the bishops. Knight e5, queen g5, and rook g6 maybe. Unless there's anything quicker. Bishop h7. Hang on. Bishop h7 takes queen h5, king g6. King g6. I can't see anything after king g6 there. So queen h3, f5. Is there anything after king g6? Bishop h7, king h7, queen h3, king g6. So I think rook f6. Then is it really bishop h7, king h7, queen h3, king g6? Isn't that here? There's the rook f6 and queen d3. There's always knight f5s. What about just bishop f6 instead then? Same idea. Bishop f6. Bishop f6. Is that accepted, the move? No? Okay. Right, just queen h3. Queen h3. Okay. Queen h8, queen g7, or just queen. Oh, this is tricky. Queen h8, queen g7, king goes to e8. So queen h6, there's knight e5. Rook f5 takes this bishop c4, almost bishop c4. Actually, there's queen h5, queen h8, and queen h5. That's the trick. And then queen g6. So, isn't bishop h7 here, and then knight g5? I guess knight e5 is not working using the queen. Bishop h7, knight g5, king g6. Then what? What about just bishop 8? Bishop h7. King takes queen c6, bishop g6. So I guess I'm going to have to play for this bishop h7. Fouled. Bishop takes b6. Oh! Easy! Bishop b6. Okay, so bishop b1 or bishop f5. Again, what's going on here? Bishop b1, rook c7. Can I just play bishop b1? No. Surely not. Looks quite simplified. I can't imagine there to be anything. So, oh, rook c1 with the idea of bishop f5. Rook c1. How is f5 defended? Okay. So rook c6 here. Doesn't that women to rook c7, bishop e6, knight c7, rook c8. Okay. So if queen d6, there's like bishop f3. Is that a concern? King g1, rook g8 doesn't look too hot. Although the king can escape, so I think, can't it rook g8, king f2, rook g2, king e3? Isn't that the point? I think the king can escape. King f2, just king e3 here. Right. So is king d3 in the slaughtering? Or is the knight's protecting e4? I can't see the mate. Well, king takes f3. No, that's really asking for it. It's queen h3 mating or something perpetual. Isn't just king d3 the safest here? Oh, king f3 is tempting. Queen h3, king f2. There's at least a perpetual there, but bishop e4. Right, I think I'll go for king d3. Okay, 1953. There's queen g7, king takes, knight e6, double check. Any good? What about, oh no. Can't see anything after that. There isn't like what about knight c6 here, threatening knight e7 mate, knight h6, knight e7, queen c6, queen g7. Knight c6 looks pretty good. So knight e7, knight e7 check. Then taking on f8, then taking on c3. Okay, 1958. So, isn't, I don't know, bishop e1. I think I'm going to make this the last problem actually. I'm getting worn down now. Bishop e1, queen e1. Or what about f5 takes, then what, g4 takes, nope, no idea. Bishop e1, queen h2, there's queen f1, not just bishop e1 then. Queen f1, there's knight f2, entanglement. It's probably worth playing for the tangle. It's like e4 check or something. Well, it takes and then e4 with the king, about losing the queen. Okay, 1963. It's good to end on a high. Alright, just one more. This is the last one. Last problem for session. Okay, when I do next, I'll just tick that. So, rook e4, rook e4, rook f2. And if taking with the king, yeah. So rook f2, knight f2. That can't be. Can it? What about just f5 here? And if knight f6, there's knight f6. Protecting the rook. Isn't f5 good here? Taking knight. Okay, ending on 1964. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got more than me. And comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.